Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Crypto Analyst channel. My name is Brendan, and I hope all of you guys are having a great day no matter where you are from. Today we have some massive cryptocurrency news to go over because even as the price is dropping, fundamentals are getting incrementally stronger every day now. You can see just by the sheer number of tabs that I have open, there is so much happening in the space fundamentally through the news and also on the charts as well, which is another thing I want to talk about today because Bitcoin is seeing some green today, about 1 to 2 to 3% across the board. And there are certainly standouts like AVAX, which is doing a whole lot better than that, which is up almost about 4.5% on the day. I want to talk also about just this large ascending channel, I guess you could call it, that Bitcoin is in, because it's in a smaller rising channel inside of a much larger rising channel. And as we do approach support here, I want to talk and really show everyone the upside potential that Bitcoin does have and a couple of the risk versus reward ratios as we do work our way through both the charts and the news here. But I want to dive into the Metaverse news first because there is so much happening in this space. In fact, I was actually looking at a chart on this yesterday, and it was showing that the Metaverse and Gamefi industry is actually the most talked about sector right now inside of cryptocurrency via different social media platforms. And so it was outpacing DeFi and privacy coins and a lot of the other sectors, as GameFi, Metaverse, and play-to-earn games are just absolutely blowing up. And as we make this transition, there is a continual shift of people leaving their centralized mainstream gaming companies to move into the blockchain gaming space. And we're not only seeing people moving and lead developers and leaders in the industry move, but we're also seeing a lot of money come in as well. In fact, in an article offered by CoinDesk, we can see that in the past year, investors have poured over 3.6 billion with a B into crypto game startups, which is a ridiculous amount of money. And this can come via the Avalanche, Polygon, Solana, and Ethereum networks. There are other networks as well that are working in this play-to-earn and blockchain-based gaming space, but those are most of the leaders right now. So to see that $3.6 billion is just pushing into this space is insane. This is a ridiculously just large industry. And people, I always say this, but people don't realize how large this industry is, especially when it's pulling in, or esports specifically in North America, are pulling in more than every major sports industry or sports brand, with the exception of the NFL. So there is just a ridiculous, it's a multi-$100 billion industry, and there's so much money to be made here that blockchain is still just representing such a small fraction of that in market share. Additionally, Fidelity is offering additional exposure to the Metaverse. They're going to create I believe, with the funds of this, they're trying to create an ETF so that people can have more exposure to the Metaverse. That has been one of the things that people have been trying to get without buying into too many individual projects. Oftentimes, people don't understand the space quite as well as they need to or as well as they should, and it leads them getting into projects that they probably shouldn't have. And so the goal here is to try to create like an index for this, or in this case, Fidelity's Metaverse ETF. That would just make it just a little bit easier for the average person to get in here and get themselves plugged into the Metaverse industry without potentially getting themselves into a project that they shouldn't have to begin with. Because marketing for this kind of stuff is it's out there right now. I would say it's kind of in the Wild West, where there's a lot of bold predictions about what people want to do, and then there is a smaller group of projects that are actually doing what they're saying they're going to do, and not just collecting a bunch of money, collecting a bunch of hype, and then saying, okay, we'll develop the game in 10 years from now, if that makes sense, and if you're understanding what I'm putting down. But in addition to this expanse, we also have Sony saying that they are investing $1 billion into the Epic Games Metaverse development. And in my opinion, this is the largest investment into the Metaverse to date, or into GameFi to date. I believe, and again, fact check me on this, but I believe that Axie held the previous record at either $350 million or $500 million. So now that we're seeing a billion-dollar or multi-billion-dollar investment into this GameFi and Metaverse space, this is a game changer. I mean, I think that this is the beginning of traditional adoption in this metaverse and play to earn space. And again, I think that this industry is going to be massive, but let it be known that I am biased because I own a lot of different metaverse cryptocurrencies, and I have been a gamer for my entire life. So seeing the expansion of this industry and as it grows makes me additionally excited because of my past and my history, loving to work with all this stuff. Now, beyond this, let's go ahead and talk about the chart over here. Enough about the metaverse. Obviously, I think that it's going to be something great. I think that there is a lot of potential there, especially as there are billions of dollars flooding into the market while we are falling quite nicely. But if we look over here, hopefully my head is not blocking too much of this, but you guys can see that Bitcoin over here is in a pretty nice ascending channel, and we had a nice little move up. So it's not like we're coming down and then forming this guy like a bear flag. We came up, and then from one of the greatest rallies in crypto history, and then we immediately formed this channel, which was kind of nice. So we came up from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, and now guess what? We're back at support over here. And we bounced off of this guy a couple times. And so if I'm just looking at the general trend of Bitcoin and its history, I'm looking at this and saying, okay, well, there's obviously a methodical move here. Cryptocurrency likes to stabilize before it makes its large moves, as we have seen in its past over here. And I think that we are in that stabilization period as we approach the bottom around $30,000. I do truly believe that that is the bottom for Bitcoin. And my general thoughts are here is as we get closer to support, I think the more increasingly bullish I am. The only thing that does concern me here is that if I'm looking at NASDAQ, it does seem to be like it is, in a sense, paired to what's happening on NASDAQ. Not entirely and not completely, but it is somewhat correlated right now. So I'm keeping an eye on that pairing as well. And the only reason I bring that up, I never usually bring something like that up, but the only reason that I do is because with rates increasing and what's happening over in Europe right now, that does directly affect NASDAQ. And if that affects NASDAQ and NASDAQ affects Bitcoin, then Bitcoin will most likely affect the altcoins. And you can see the domino effect that could be had on this market potentially. And again, it's not always that case, but right now I am seeing a little bit more of a pairing. And so that's just something I am keeping my eye on. But ultimately, as we approach the 30,000s, I get increasingly more bullish on cryptocurrency. I think something substantially bad would have to happen to both traditionals and crypto for Bitcoin to break below $30,000. I don't really see it being a likelihood without something very extreme happen. And I think at this point, we have thrown just about everything at the wall, every kind of black swan event that we could think of. We've thrown at the markets and we still haven't broken it. So for a lot of different reasons, I am bullish on Bitcoin. And we're seeing a very similar thing over here with Ethereum, right? It's a very similar methodical movement upwards. And if we want to move this from a 1 day to a 3 day just so we can see it a little bit better, we can also see that Ethereum looks very similar. The only real difference here is that Ethereum has a significantly stronger support than Bitcoin does because we've had a lot of different touch points in these areas over the course of time. And we have seen just a little bit of rejection off of our heart line. But I really do think that it's only a matter of time until Ethereum reaches $5,000. And really, as we are floating around towards the lower 3,000s and in the 2,000s, I am extremely excited to buy Ethereum because I don't think it's going anywhere in the long term as well. Now, if you do want to get all of my technical analysis in a lot more detail, I do go over that in the Crypt Nation group. So if you want to join that, there's a link to that in the description down below. You're also free to ask me any questions in there as well. I go over a lot of other altcoins, so things like Terra Luna and Atom and Gala and all sorts of other altcoins I cover in there as well. So it's pretty cool. Now, back to the news over here. We have Janet Yellen, someone who has been notoriously bearish on cryptocurrencies for some time now, starting to shift her tone as she is now becoming a little bit more bullish on cryptocurrencies and a little bit more lenient toward it. This is interesting because someone who has been a strong part of the US government and also quite notoriously against cryptocurrency, beginning to switch her views in such an interesting time, it can't help but make me, again, more bullish on cryptocurrency in the future that we have. There are becoming fewer and fewer politicians that are against cryptocurrency, and I think that that will drastically help the cause. Now, whether that is because they want to make money or because they see this as a necessary freedom or, whatever reason it may be, this is ultimately a good thing to have more politicians on the side of embracing cryptocurrency rather than regulating it through the roof, making it unusable for the average person, at least to the extent that we want to use it at. So I like to see articles like this one coming out. There wasn't a lot of actual, I don't know what to call it, of content written in here, but it was more so just the concept of someone that was notoriously, and has been notoriously for years now, so bearish on cryptocurrency. Now, beyond this, there has been this idea floating around. I've actually talked to people that I've worked with about this one, that Bitcoin's 4-year halving cycle is dead. And it's pretty split. There's a lot of people that believe it is still going to happen and still going to play a significant part in the future. But then there's another group that believe that, this is kind of a dead thing, and this is a thing of the past. And now Bitcoin and crypto has grown too large for this idea. And with the loss of Bitcoin dominance over time, it just won't be the same as it used to. And I somewhat agree. I think that with the growth of the market and with how much Bitcoin dominance has fallen, I mean, at the time of making this video, it's at 40.9%, which is pretty low. It's one of the lowest points I believe it's ever been. But with the expanse of the crypto markets, they are starting to mature to be more than just Bitcoin. And with the Bitcoin cycle happening, I do think that it is impactful, and I think that it means something. Now, is it gonna cause us to make 100x rallies or 10, 30, 50x rallies from here? I don't know. I think that it will ultimately be a bullish thing for Bitcoin. I'm just not sure it's going to be this parabolic market cycle like we have seen in the past. And in the least, this might be one of the last halving events that is extremely significant in my opinion. Now, again, I think they're always going to impact the market. They're always going to be significant, but I do think the context of this Bitcoin halving being this ridiculously parabolic market mover is going to slowly fade away over time. And so I think we are transitioning out of this 4-year halving cycle to a more mature market space. And finally, Celsius bans new transfers by US non-accredited investors from earning crypto rewards, which means if you are not a US accredited investor, you will no longer be able to use Celsius. And if you're asking yourself, Brendan, how do I know if I'm a US accredited investor? If you have to ask yourself that question, you're not a US accredited investor, unfortunately, 99% of the time. So pretty much for the average person that is watching this, I'm assuming 99% of my audience, we will no longer be able to use the Celsius platform, which is, I feel like that has to be quite the hit to Celsius. I feel like it really does. So time will tell about their scalability at this point. I mean, that is a significant hit, in my opinion, to their little economy and ecosystem that they have going on. But, we will see. Maybe the average person that uses them is an accredited investor inside of the US. Maybe not, but time will tell over here. This is just, I think, an unfortunate series of events of people who liked the Celsius platform and liked the different options that they brought along with them. Although there still are competitors that do very, very similar things to Celsius out there, which is one of the great things about crypto, is that if something like this happens to one platform, there is a competitor sitting on the sideline that will gladly take that market share into their space. So that's going to round us up for cryptocurrency today. I would say that as cryptocurrency is recovering over here, I want to see Bitcoin break above that $40,000 or $48,000 level. I think that if Bitcoin can do that, and if Ethereum can break above 36,000, those are the areas I'm really looking for. I want to see higher highs here. We're starting to see higher lows. I want to see higher highs. And that's the thing that I get excited about. So I do like the overall trend of cryptocurrency. Now, with all that being said, we could still see more downside. It's very possible that we fall lower to support. And so I don't want to completely throw that out of the options window, because it still is a very strong possibility that we do fall lower. But as we fall lower, I become just incrementally more bullish. The lower we go, the more that I just want to keep accruing cryptocurrency and all other sorts of assets as well. But that's going to round us up for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help out the channel a lot more than you think, and it helps push out this video to more people. So drop a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you thought about the video. Share this video with someone that needs to hear it. Smack that like button, smack that subscribe button, and I will see you all next time.